Good morning, this is Deborah Matthews, Vicar of St Michael's and All Angels and All Saints Three-Legged Cross, with my thought for today. Talking about the weather, as we know, is a very British thing to do. We are quite often moaning about it, but if it's pouring with rain, we do like to look on the bright side, saying that the gardens need it. I'm not so sure, though, that they like being battered by the wind. At the moment, we're getting some rather full-on wind and rain, perhaps not what we expect or welcome in July, just before the children break up for their summer holidays. We are told that our weather patterns are just one of the very visible signs of global warming. As we look at the Mediterranean at the moment, we see pictures of people cooling off in fountains and walking along under umbrellas, trying to protect themselves from the very extreme temperatures. Just looking at the pictures of the Acropolis in Athens gives me a sense of how uncomfortable those temperatures are. I was there earlier in the year when it was much cooler, but even then I sat in the shade. There is no doubt that our weather patterns are different to those we remember when we were growing up. So what do we need to do about it? We put things in place to help us to recycle and to be much more aware now of climate change and the ongoing problems with the use of fossil fuels. But we perhaps don't want to give up the things which make our lives easier, to embrace new ways of heating and recycling, to name just a couple of the things that we can do. And that means that we do have to make an effort. Jesus often uses examples of the things in nature to make a point, and today's gospel demonstrates how living things need certain conditions to survive and to grow strong. If seeds are sown on the path, they become bird food. If they're sown on rocks, they spring up quickly but have no root, so they soon perish. If they are sown among thorns, they will be choked out by the weeds. It's only the seed sown in good soil that will flourish and bear fruit. This is a very well-known parable and easy for us to understand. We might not all be great gardeners, but we do all know how to grow plants. We understand that plants need water and soil and sunshine to grow. Too much or too little of any of these will mean that they will perish. All life needs the right amount of good things to survive, and that includes the things that have until recently seemed to be beyond our control, like the welfare of our home planet. We now know that we can't go on ignoring the health of the earth. Some people are what could be considered by some as making a nuisance of themselves by protesting at big functions like Wimbledon or the first night of the proms, where they will be seen and heard by the largest number of people. And whatever we think about their methods, we have to concede that we must not ignore the damage that has already been caused to our planet and way of life. Now that we understand what is happening, we all need to do our part by putting it right. And Jesus' parable was not just to remind us about the conditions that seeds need to grow in, but to help us realise the difference it makes to our lives if we let the seed of God's word grow in us. If we are half-hearted about our faith and let everything else get in the way of that, then our faith will not thrive or survive. The everyday challenges of our life, like the weeds, will choke it, giving it no time or space to grow, and then it can slowly fade away. But if we can put our faith in God each morning when we wake up, and if we can share the joy of knowing that God is with us at every moment, then our faith will bloom and the gospel will spread and thrive. Jesus said to his disciples, "Put your trust in God still and trust in me. God bless you and have a good week. But don't forget your umbrella.